Greetings, Squatch Ranger, YouTube channel, viewers, and subscribers. I just want to ask, have you checked me out on patreon.com yet? Please visit my patreon.com page. I will provide a link in the description of this video. New field equipment is always a bonus when bringing my audience a peek into my latest adventure. Also, I collect Bigfoot reports from witnesses all over the state of Oklahoma and beyond. Sharing these reports through my podcast show, Squatch Ranger Files, is a great way for me to inform my audience that Bigfoot sightings continue to occur. A $1 pledge per month on patreon.com would be a helpful tool for me to continue my journey. Please join my search.
You have 77 counties in Oklahoma. I can put reports in them in 66 counties.
911, what are you reporting?
We got someone or something crawling around out here.
Did you see what it was?
I'd say it was a person or somebody really big. But he's all in black.
Welcome back to Squatch Ranger Files, episode 27. We are about a month away from the Honubby Bigfoot Festival and Conference, held in Honubby, Oklahoma. It's a yearly Bigfoot conference with great guest speakers and arts and crafts and many food vendors. This year, the conference is held on October 3rd and 4th. If you would like any additional information on this Bigfoot conference, please visit www.honubbybigfoot.com. If you have your own Bigfoot encounter story, please email it to me at squatchranger@gmail.com. I'd love to include your Bigfoot encounter story on this program. Okay guys, let's get to it. It's now time to start Squatch Ranger Files, episode 27. Number 1. Brothers see gorilla-type creature while fishing. 1977. In San Bernardino County, California. Class A daytime sighting. In 1977, I was 9 years old, and my brother was 11. My dad got transferred to Oklahoma. He was an enlisted military man, so when we moved, he used this time to see sights and go camping and fishing. We were moving from California, so the first stops we were camping and fishing in the streams and lakes of the Sierra Nevada mountains, east of Big Bear. The first day out, my brother and I went fishing in a stream near the cabin my dad had rented. The day was mostly uneventful. We had caught a few sunfish. We fished all day and decided to call it a day. We were collecting our gear up, and my brother was pulling the stringer of fish out of the water. We heard a noise from across the stream, and my brother said, "Hey, what's that?" I looked over and saw what I thought was a gorilla. When my brother and I froze looking at it, I said, "Looks kinda like a gorilla." He had the stringer of fish in his hand and lifted it out of the water. When he did, the animal stood up. Not like a gorilla, but more like a man. My brother said, "That's not a gorilla," as we both could see the face. It had a face that was a lot like a human, but it was huge. My brother knew not to panic or run, and he kept me from doing both. So we moved slow to gather our stuff, watching the creature the whole time. The animal seemed to be curious about us and what we were doing, and not aggressive or agitated at all. We walked away from it until we were out of sight of it. Then we ran back to the cabin to tell our parents, whom of course didn't believe us. We went back the next morning, but it was gone, and we didn't cross the stream. But there was a spot on the embankment that looked like a place where something slid down to the water. Follow up NOBRO investigators report. The Sierra bioregion is rich in biodiversity, containing over half the plant species found in California and more than 400 of the state's terrestrial wildlife species, or about 2/3 of the birds and mammals and half the reptiles and amphibians. The variety of habitat types include annual grassland, blue oak savanna, chaparral, ponderosa pine, black oak woodland, mixed conifer, red fir, riparian, alpine meadow, Jeffrey pine, sagebrush, and bitter brush. Animals that inhabit the Sierra bioregion include lodgepole chipmunk, mountain beaver, California mountain king snake, black bear, wolverine, California bighorn sheep, Pacific fisher, mule deer, and mountain lion. The California golden trout, the state fish, is native to the southern Sierra. Birds include the northern goshawk, mountain chickadee, pine grosbeak, California spotted owl, mountain quail, willow flycatcher, bald eagle, and great gray owl. This report is similar to many other Bigfoot reports, in which the eyewitnesses were fishing and the Bigfoot seemed to be curiously observing what the eyewitnesses were doing. The Bigfoot in this report may have been watching these two boys the entire time the boys were fishing, and it went undetected until the older brother pulled the fish from the water on the fishing stringer. One possibility is that the Bigfoot may have thought it found easy access to food. After it was spotted, the Bigfoot fled the area. This case is now closed. Number 2. Men see a Bigfoot during fishing tournament. 2019, Montgomery County, Arkansas. Class B, wood knocks. Class B, smell and odor. And Class A, daytime sighting. This is my most recent encounter. This was 2 weeks ago near Mount Ida, Arkansas. Well, a buddy of mine and me were fishing a tournament at Lake Ouachita, and I wanted to hit a cove. So we hit it, and we were catching fish, and we heard some tree knocks on both sides of the cove. I didn't say anything, because I knew there was Bigfoot action in that area. We continued fishing, and I had heard a growl, so I kinda got down and was scanning the area, and we got a strong whiff, and I continued to gloss the area, and I saw what I think was the alpha, because he was over 10 feet and massive. My buddy has never had an encounter and started acting foolish, screaming, waving his arms, and cussing at it. I kept telling him to shut up and to get down, and he didn't. Well, at that time, he was 50 yards away from us, and by the time he finally shut up and got in the driver's seat, he was closing in fast on us. I really think he was after my buddy. He has not returned my calls or texts, so I don't know how he is handling it, but I know it got intense quick. It scared the mess out of my buddy. I kinda laughed at him, 'cause for the rest of the day, it was hard for him to speak. It was, I want to say, close to 12 foot. His hair was real dark brown, almost black. His face was almost human-like. He was real massive and muscular. Follow up NOBRO investigators report. This sighting occurred in southwest Arkansas on the Ouachita Lake and in the middle of the Ouachita National Forest. The two eyewitnesses were in a cove fishing on the lake when they first heard wood knocks, then got a whiff of an unusual odor. The two men were traveling up a cove by boat before all the Bigfoot activity occurred. There are numerous reports of fishermen having Bigfoot sightings by boat, and this could be because a boat trolling motor is so quiet that a Bigfoot might have a more difficult time hearing the boat approaching and detecting humans from far away, resulting in a sighting. The eyewitness stated that he believed the Bigfoot was the alpha male because of its height and size, between 10 to 12 feet tall. This area is surrounded by the Ouachita National Forest. Wildlife and ecology. The Ouachita Mountains abound in a wide variety of wildlife, including game and non-game species. The name Ouachita is derived from an American Indian word meaning good hunting. Many tribes use these mountains as seasonal hunting grounds, and today the Ouachita National Forest, including the area around the Talamina National Scenic Byway, provide valuable hunting opportunities to the public. Deer, turkey, bear, quail, fox, raccoons, opossums, groundhogs, chipmunks, and gray squirrels are common to the area. During the past 45 to 50 years, there has been a remarkable eastward invasion by some western animals. Armadillos, coyotes, and roadrunners are now common. Along the north slopes of rich and winding stair mountains are rocky areas with deep pockets of leaf mold and many fallen logs in an advanced state of decay. These form ideal habitat for two amphibians unique to the area: the rich mountain salamander and the Ouachita mountain redback salamander. Bird life is abundant along the Talamina National Scenic Byway, including the soaring birds. Eagles are active in winter and spring. Turkey vultures and a few black vultures are permanent residents, and red-tailed and red-shouldered hawks are year-round residents of the Ouachita National Forest, but are especially noticeable during migrating periods. Strong updrafts and turbulence above these mountains entice these birds to perform fascinating and entertaining aerial acrobatics. This area is well known as a hotspot for watchable wildlife, and bears are at the top of the list. Spring is when the bears are on the move, which increases the odds of your catching sight of one of these normally elusive bruins. While they can be seen here throughout the year, late April through May is best. The best way to increase your odds of seeing a bear is to travel the Talamina National Scenic Byway around dusk. It is located in the middle of one of Arkansas's largest bear populations, so this is a prime bear habitat. The bears can easily meet all their needs for food and water here. Plus, the vast expanses of surrounding Ouachita National Forest lands provide plenty of room for these big mammals. Bigfoot would have a similar diet and similar needs as the black bears in this area. This case is now closed. Number 3. Hunters have rocks thrown into camp and hear screams. 1992. Southeast District, LaFleur County, Oklahoma. Class B, rock throwing. Class B, vocalizations. Class A, nighttime sighting. And Class B, footprints. My second encounter came in 1992. I just came home from the Marine Corps and was attending HVACR school. I had a neighbor who owned some land south of Poto, Oklahoma, and invited me to go hunting with him. We were supposed to be there 5 days, the week of Thanksgiving. That Wednesday, I shot a doe late in the afternoon. We took it into town to check the deer at a check station and went back to camp. It was pretty cold that night, so we hung it in a tree at the camp, had a few drinks, and went to sleep. The next morning, we got up early to get in our stands, but the doe was gone. The rope was broken, still in the tree. My buddy said he had seen a bear and some mountain lions in the area before. but we couldn't find any drag marks. He shot a 10-point buck that morning. We got it back to camp and hung it in the same tree. That afternoon, sitting in my stand, I heard some strange sounds, like trees breaking and falling. I hadn't seen any animals, which was also odd, because I had seen animals every day since we got there. So I went back to camp early, and my buddy was already there. He said, "It happened again." I said, "What happened?" We walked to the tree, and the rope was broken, but the deer was on the ground. It looked like the right hind leg had been ripped off to the hip and was gone. It was starting to get dark, so I went to light the campfire, and my buddy said, "Stop throwing rocks." I lit the fire and said, "I'm not throwing anything." As we looked at each other, a large rock landed about a foot away from him. We each grabbed our rifles. My buddy yells, "Whoever you are trespassing on my property." Then we heard a very large scream, like nothing I've ever heard before. It made the hair on my neck stand up. We looked in the direction the sound came from, but it was dark now and couldn't see very well. Another large rock landed to my left. I stepped forward to put the firelight behind me so I could see. I looked into the trees and could see a large dark figure. I brought my rifle up but couldn't see it in the scope. I fired 2 shots in the direction that I saw it. My buddy said he wasn't going to stay out here for 1 more minute. We gathered our gear and left the area. We stayed at a hotel that night. The next morning, we went back to see what we could find. We did find tracks in 2 places, about 16 inches long, almost a 1¼ inch deep, but the ground was soft. And we found tree limbs broken about 8 feet up, like they had been pulled down. My neighbor sold that land the next year, and that's when I started looking into the Bigfoot. In my opinion, these animals are like most other animals on this planet. They have individual personalities. Some are timid and elusive, some are curious, and some are aggressive. And a question to ponder: how is it that North America is the only continent without a documented primate? Follow-up NOBRO investigators report. The eyewitness in this report is a very credible witness with a military background. This eyewitness, like most eyewitnesses, was hesitant to share his story and requested to remain anonymous to protect his identity. The 2 hunters in this report had a wide variety of experiences, from the strange way the deer disappeared in the same tree, to vocalizations to rocks being thrown. This report comes from Southeast Oklahoma, which has the most reports from the state of Oklahoma, and LaFleur County is the main hotspot for Bigfoot reports, with the most of any other county in the state. The Ouachita National Forest is to the east and to the south from this sighting. The Ouachita National Forest stretches from western Arkansas into southeast Oklahoma and would provide more than enough cover for a Bigfoot to hide and stay undetected. These 2 hunters were armed, yet still felt the need to leave the property for the night. It's also important to note that the hunters found some 16-inch tracks in the area where their encounter happened. Although circumstantial, this proves something was indeed in the area. This case is now closed.